Gotta believe Tennessee, the Volunteers, are going to be well represented in Nashville for this one here, as Purdue will come to town for the Music City Bowl. Purdue opens up as a slight 3-point favorite here with a total of 58.5. 3 o'clock on December 30th Eastern Time kickoff. I guess maybe here, Tony Mejia, the big news is Aiden O'Connell, good to go, the quarterback for Purdue, but David Bell, I believe, declared and will not be available for this game for Purdue. So what do you think we're going to get with these two teams?
Yeah, happy holidays to everybody. Look, I think David Bell out and George Karlaftis, the defensive end, is also not playing in this bowl game, and he's supposed to be a top 5 pick, one of the better pass rushers in all of college football. So that's your two best players on each side of the ball. And it's definitely going to mean a ton to Tennessee. Josh Heupel, first year in there, trying to really get that fan base reinvigorated after a down portion of over a decade. I guess they really were affected by not really having they had the backup plan in Lane Kiffin after Philip Fulmer, but that fell through, and they've kind of been languishing since. So Heupel's trying to lift that program back up. This would be a nice start in terms of picking up your first bowl win. They have Hendon Hooker back. I think that's key. What Heupel likes to do is play as fast as possible, making quick decisions with your quarterback and testing the opposing defense's stamina. And I think he'll probably get a chance to do that. These practices have meant a ton to him and his program. So, if you're trying to back continuity in these bowl games, I think Tennessee probably has a better chance than Purdue at looking close to what they were at the end of the season. And they were a decent football team. Certainly, they had missed opportunities, but Tennessee probably had the season we expected them to have in a year one under Heupel, and they're on an upward trend.
You got to expect, right, Brian, the home crowd there in effect for Tennessee. Tony did talk about motivation here. Can't help but to look at the total with Tennessee. How are you approaching this?
Yeah, it's been played where Vanderbilt plays, and even though they're in the same conference, if any locals come to the game, they'll be rooting against Tennessee. They hate Tennessee. So I don't know how many locals will be showing up. Vanderbilt doesn't bring a lot there, but it's interesting how this line has moved. It opened Purdue 3. Now I'm seeing Tennessee 5. Yeah, it's two players. It's two really good players, but I think it's too much of an overreaction here. Between these two teams, I always take a look at how they do when they lose a turnover battle. Between the two teams, they're 8 when they lose a turnover battle on the season. So neither team has really been able to win unless they get some breaks on the season. Looking at the victories these teams have had, Purdue, number one, first off, has been an excellent underdog. Brom's been just a terrific coach. He's always been very good as an underdog. Take a look at the teams they beat this year, probably the best teams they've beaten, where they win 24-7 at Iowa, and then they beat Michigan State 40-29. Those are pretty good wins. Iowa wasn't as good as what we saw early in the season. We all knew it was a mirage, but they were still a pretty good football team, and obviously Michigan State is the same. Tennessee, on the other hand, you take a look at the games they have won. Bowling Green, Tennessee Tech, Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky, South Alabama, and the aforementioned Vanderbilt. To me, the only decent teams they beat were Kentucky and Missouri, and I never thought them was very good on the season. Kentucky's a pretty good team, but in the game against Kentucky, they win the game 45-42, despite being outgained 151 yards and had 18 less first downs. I like Purdue as an underdog. Purdue's the side I like in this game. I think it's been an over-adjustment here. Give me the Big Ten squad catching the points here against what I consider a slightly overrated Tennessee squad.
All right, a little bit overrated, Tennessee and Brian Zines. What do you think here, Dave? How do you approach this game?
I don't. I should have bet Tennessee on the opening number because I knew they were going to end up going off the favorite, and I could have set up a nice middle for myself with a +3 and now a +5. And that's I'm unhappy about that because I knew it was going to happen, and it did, and I didn't take advantage of it. That's an enormous middle. So I'm pretty much pissed off about what I didn't do. And as for the game, I haven't the slightest idea what's going to happen. To me, it's a toss-up. So that makes it even more aggravating because I think this is a game where that middle probably could have hit. Let's put it this way, better than 20-1 odds. I can tell you that. So I missed the boat. Probably going to be a shootout. Might be fun to watch. No idea who wins.
All right. That means we'll move on here, guys.